All right, get ready because today we're going deep into AI image generation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know that YouTube video transcript about CNNs? Convolutional Neural Networks.
Right.
I gotta say, some of that stuff blew me away.
Yeah, it's a really exciting field. A lot of really mind-blowing possibilities.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. Can you just give us a simple explanation, like what actually I is a CNN?
Well, you know how when you look at a picture, your brain just instantly sees all the details,
Hmm.
like the objects and the faces and textures and everything.
Yeah.
A CNN is trying to do the same thing,
Okay.
but instead of using neurons like our brains do, it uses math.
Math, huh? Sounds a little intimidating.
Well, yeah, it can be complex,
Right.
but the basic idea is actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Basically, a CNN is like a really powerful feature extractor.
Okay.
So imagine you have a toolbox full of different filters,
Okay.
and some of these filters might highlight edges,
Uh-huh.
and some of them might pick out colors.
Mm.
Some might even detect, like, complex shapes,
Yeah.
like eyes or fur or something.
So it's kind of like running different Instagram filters over a photo to see what details pop?
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
But here's the really cool part.
Yeah.
CNNs don't just use pre-programmed filters. They actually learn the filters on their own
Oh, wow.
by analyzing, like, massive sets of images.
So the CNN is basically teaching itself how to see what's important in the image.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And that's what's so revolutionary about them.
Right.
It's like a huge leap from, the old days when people had to actually make these filters by hand.
That was taking forever.
Oh, absolutely.
Huh.
It was incredibly labor intensive.
Right.
And, that YouTube video transcript you shared,
Yeah.
it mentioned how this automation just totally changed the field,
Oh, yeah.
Not only did it speed things up dramatically, but it also made image analysis way more accurate.
So that's fascinating. So CNNs are these amazing feature extractors, but how do they actually do it? What are those convolutions doing to the image data?
Okay.
I know it's a little complex.
Well, let's look at a simplified example from the transcript.
Okay.
Like, imagine a black and white image
Uh-huh.
of a handwritten digit, like the kind of bank checks.
Oh, right. Like the classic MNIST data set for image recognition, right?
Exactly. That's the
Okay.
one. Now, the CNN gets this image as a grid of pixel values, right?
Okay.
So then the convolution operation takes a small filter, like say a 3x3 grid of numbers,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of slides across the image, doing calculations at each step.
So it's like scanning the image with a tiny little magnifying glass, focusing on each little section at a time.
Exactly. A great way to picture it.
Okay.
At each position, the filter's multiplying its values with the corresponding pixel values and adding them up.
Okay.
And then that gives you a single output value that represents the features detected by the filter in that specific little area.
Oh, okay, I see. So if the filter is designed to detect edges, it would put out a higher value wherever there's a really sharp change in the pixels, right?
Exactly. Now imagine applying multiple filters, each tuned to find different features
Right.
to the same image, right?
Right.
So that creates a whole stack of transformed images,
Right.
each highlighting different parts of the original.
Oh, so it's almost like the convolutions are revealing hidden layers within the image, like an X-ray kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
Now this stack of transformed images can get pretty big and kind of hard to work with.
Oh, right.
So that's where another really crucial part of CNNs comes in, and it's called max pooling.
Max pooling. Okay. What's that do?
So think of it like this. Max pooling is a way of simplifying all that information, but still keeping the most important stuff.
Okay.
Imagine you're dividing that transformed image into little sections, like 2x2 squares.
Okay.
Max pooling picks the highest value from each section and just throws away the rest.
So it's like saying, out of these 4 values, this one's the most important, so we're going to keep that.
Exactly. And this shrinking process actually makes the model more efficient because it's got fewer values to deal with while still keeping those key features.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's like condensing a whole book into just a few bullet points, right?
Exactly.
It's starting to click for me now.
Great.
But how does all this connect to those amazing AI-generated images we see online? In that transcript, it mentions stable diffusion. What's the link there?
Yeah. Now we're getting into the really fun stuff.
Okay.
Stable diffusion and other cutting-edge AI models like it are built on top of CNNs, right?
Okay.
They take this feature extraction idea and combine it with some really advanced techniques.
Can you give us a little peek behind the AI curtain there? What are we talking about?
One of the big innovations is this thing called diffusion models.
Okay.
So they work by gradually adding noise to an image.
Okay.
until it becomes just pure visual chaos. Then get this. They learn to reverse that process.
Huh.
They start with pure noise and slowly remove it to create a clear, coherent image.
So it's like taking a perfectly good picture, scrambling it up into a million pieces, and then teaching the AI how to put the puzzle back together.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And what's really amazing is that by guiding this process with text prompts, Stable Diffusion can generate images that match specific descriptions.
Like those examples from the video transcript, a professor in the 1940s, Wolverine, a samurai. It's crazy what's possible now.
It really is incredible.
Yeah.
And what's even more remarkable is a lot of this tech is becoming available to everybody.
Really?
You can actually play around with AI image generation yourself using tools that are free online.
Wait, seriously. So someone like me who's not a coding whiz could make amazing AI art.
Absolutely. A lot of these tools use what are called pre-trained models.
Okay.
These are like pre-built engines that have already learned a ton about visual information. Then you can fine-tune them to do specific tasks, like generating pictures based on, your own descriptions.
So what are those pre-trained models? Are they like templates for different kinds of images?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
See, pre-trained models are basically CNNs that have already been trained on massive amounts of images.
Okay.
So they've already learned a lot about the visual world, and they can create a huge range of pictures based on what they've, seen during their training.
So it's like they already went to art school and learned from the masters.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
They've absorbed all this visual knowledge, and they can use that to create new pictures.
So if I wanted to create a picture in the style of, say, Van Gogh, I could use a pre-trained model that was trained on his paintings.
Exactly. And you don't even need to know all the complex algorithms or write any code.
Oh, really?
Many of these platforms have really easy-to-use interfaces that let you experiment with different styles and prompts and stuff.
Wow, that's incredible. So even someone like me can tap into the power of AI to create art.
Absolutely. And that's just the beginning. We haven't even talked about the implications for things like scientific research or education or even everyday life. But we'll save that for later in our deep dive. When I first started learning about CNNs, I was really struck by how they kind of mirrored the way we learn to see, like humans.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, think about a baby.
Okay.
When they're first born, their vision's all blurry.
Right.
And they can only make out, basic shapes and colors. But as they grow up and start experiencing the world, their brains start forming connections and learning to see all these complex patterns.
So you're saying CNNs kind of go through a similar process, like learning from all the image data they're fed.
Exactly. By analyzing, thousands and thousands of images, they start picking up on those subtle features and patterns that define, different objects and textures and even emotions.
Wow, it makes you realize that AI is, like, in some ways mimicking the processes that make us human.
It really does. And as we keep developing these, more sophisticated AI models, it brings up some pretty interesting questions about, the nature of intelligence itself.
Right.
But maybe let's not get too philosophical just yet.
Okay.
We still have a lot to explore with CNNs and image generation.
Right. So we've talked about these pre-trained models as, like, amazing art students who've absorbed all this knowledge about the visual world.
Right.
What can people actually do with this technology?
Oh, wow.
What are some real-world applications?
The possibilities are huge.
Yeah.
We already mentioned how, artists and designers can use AI to experiment with different styles, bring their ideas to life.
Yeah.
But it goes way beyond that.
Okay.
Think about, like, scientific research.
Okay, yeah. How would scientists use this?
Imagine a biologist studying, the structures of cells. AI image generation could help them visualize those tiny worlds in amazing detail.
Wow.
Revealing patterns and insights that might be hard to see otherwise.
So it's like giving scientists a new set of eyes to see the unseen.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just visualizing existing data either.
Okay.
AI could also help them generate totally new images based on their theories and models.
Oh, wow.
Really pushing the boundaries of scientific discovery.
That's incredible. What other fields could benefit from this?
Oh, almost any fields you can think of.
Wow.
Education?
Okay.
AI could create, like, personalized learning materials that adapt to each student entertainment.
Okay.
Think about immersive video games. Or even, like, interactive movies where the story changes based on what you do.
Wait, hold on. Interactive movies where I control the plot? Sign me up.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are just a few examples. We're really just scratching the surface here.
This is all so exciting, but with all this amazing potential of AI image generation, I can't help but think, are there any downsides?
Right.
Like, are there any risks we should be aware of?
That's a great question. It's one we should think about really carefully.
Yeah.
Like any powerful tool, AI image generation comes with its own challenges.
Okay.
One thing to remember is that the quality of the output really depends on the data that was used to train the models.
So if the training data is biased or inaccurate, the AI could create images that reflect those problems, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's really important to pay attention to what data we use
Right.
and constantly be working on making it more accurate and fair.
That makes sense.
Oh.
What other challenges do you see?
Well, another challenge is making sure these AI-generated images are being used ethically.
Right.
As it gets more advanced and more people have access to it, we really need to think about how it might be used, maybe even unintentionally,
Right.
to spread misinformation or create those deep fakes.
Yeah. That's kind of a scary thought.
Yeah.
Being able to make images that look totally real could have some pretty serious ethical implications.
Absolutely. That's why we need to be having these open and honest discussions about the potential risks and benefits, right?
Yeah.
We need to make guidelines and put safeguards in place to make sure AI is used for good and not for, the wrong reasons.
It sounds like we need to strike a balance, right? Like encouraging innovation, but also being responsible with this powerful technology.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And it's not just up to the experts and policymakers,
Right.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
So what can regular people like us actually do?
Well, for starters, we can educate ourselves about AI.
Right.
Learn about how it works.
Yeah.
The more we understand it, the better we'll be able to make good decisions about how it's developed and used.
Right. Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Right.
We can also get involved in the conversations about the ethical side of things, share our opinions, and really push for responsible AI development.
And I guess it's also important to be, critical of what we see online, especially with all these AI-generated images popping up.
Absolutely.
We need to be aware that they can be used to mislead people.
Definitely. Having those critical thinking skills is going to be more important than ever in this new world of AI.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation.
Good.
I feel like I've learned so much about CNNs and the whole world of AI image generation.
Me too.
I bet our listeners feel the same way. But I have one last question before we move on to our final part of the deep dive.
Okay.
What's the most surprising, unexpected thing you've learned about AI image generation?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think the thing that surprised me the most was how quickly the field is moving.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that generating these photorealistic pictures from text prompts seems like something out of science fiction.
Right.
But now it's a reality,
Yeah.
and the results are getting more and more impressive every day.
It really is remarkable. And speaking of remarkable, I can't wait to see what else you have to share with us in the final part of our deep dive.
It's wild to think that all this incredible tech kind of comes from these basic building blocks of CNNs. Like, who knew those little filters could lead to so much,
It is pretty remarkable. It
Yeah.
really shows the power of, human ingenuity
Yeah.
and our constant desire to try and understand the world around us, right?
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of understanding,
Yeah.
we've covered so much in this deep dive. We've gone over how CNNs work
Right.
and the magic behind AI image generation. And we even got a little philosophical at times.
Yeah, a little bit.
But before we wrap things up on this awesome journey,
Yep, sure.
I want to hear your thoughts on something that's been kind of bugging me.
All right, what is it?
We talked about how AI can create these amazing images and how it could completely revolutionize, art and design, science education, all that.
But where does that leave us, humans?
Yeah.
Will we just become like passive viewers in a world where machines are making all the visuals? Or will there always be a need for, the human touch, creativity, imagination?
That's a really deep question.
Yeah.
And one I think about often,
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in all the hype
Right.
and worry that AI is going to replace, human artists.
Right.
But I see it a bit differently.
How so?
To me, AI is a tool.
Uh-huh.
Super powerful tool, yeah, but still just a tool.
Yeah.
It's up to us to figure out how to use it.
Right.
Like, remember when the camera was invented?
Yeah.
It didn't replace painting.
Right.
I don't think AI is going to replace human creativity.
Okay.
If anything, I think it can actually enhance it,
Right.
boost our creative abilities in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
So you see it as like a partnership, humans and AI working together to create something truly special.
Exactly. Imagine artists using AI as a creative partner.
Yeah.
Bouncing ideas back and forth,
Right.
exploring new styles,
Yeah.
really pushing the boundaries.
Wow, that's a really cool way to look at it.
Right.
It's not about machines taking over. It's about humans, A&D machines teaming up
Yeah,
to create something amazing and new.
that's where the real excitement is.
Yeah.
As AI keeps developing,
Right.
it's going to unlock all these creative possibilities.
Yeah.
Who knows what we'll be able to make when we combine, the human imagination with the power of AI.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
Yeah, it has.
Thank you so much for, taking us on this journey and sharing your knowledge with us.
Of course.
I feel like I've learned so much about the potential of AI, and I bet our listeners feel the same.
Yeah, for sure.
The pleasure was all mine.
Good.
It's always so fun to talk about this stuff. And you know what? This is just the beginning.
Right.
The world of AI is always changing.
Mm.
Who knows what incredible breakthroughs are just around the corner.
Oh,
So to all our listeners out there,
yeah.
keep exploring, keep learning.
Keep asking questions.
Yeah. The future of AI is in our hands.
It is.
It's up to us to shape it in a way that helps everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time, keep on diving deep.